You probably have heard a lot about illustration lately, but do you really know its importance in the marketing place? Hello, I'm Cristina López, member of the graphic designer team in Impulsa Creative, and in today's video I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about illustration in the marketing nowadays.
First things first, what is illustration? There's this misconception that every drawing or any painting is an illustration. Illustration is any visual representation of an idea or a concept. An illustration represents visually a text, but illustration can be done in any media, like colored pencils, watercolors, oils. Drawings can be illustrations, but it's a visual representation of an idea. It's usually accompanied by text, and there's different types of illustrations. For example, we got scientific illustrations, or we got children's illustrations. So, to understand the true importance of illustration in advertisement, we need to understand also its history. Well, even cave paintings can be considered illustration because they tell a story. Later in the years, in medieval times, we got the illustrator manuscripts, which people there didn't really know how to read, so the handwritten books had tiny illustrations that will be related to the text there. Then, in the Renaissance era, we got the printing method, thanks to Gutenberg. And mass production of illustrations were more easier. For example, this is Albert Dürer. He is a very recognized illustrator from the Renaissance. And in that time, illustrations were mostly used for books or to represent music. Then finally, thanks to the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century, we got a more fastest process to printing posters, and the profession of illustrators was established. Back then, the illustrations were used to advertise things like drinks, alcoholic drinks, cigarettes, theaters, the opera, because it was such a high economic time. The illustrations showcased the high life. And later on, during the war times, during the war era, illustrations were used to attract people to join the military, to show maneuvers, how to use weapons as instructions, or to simply to call people to help to, join the military or the nurse forces. And well, with the time, newer technologies came, for example, computer, and we got newer printing methods with more colors and things like that. Now, illustration in modern day. This is an illustration done by the Philadelphia Art Museum for a little brief campaign they had. So nowadays, visual marketing has been one of the most fast-growing methods in marketing because people consume information visually way more faster than text. This is something extremely used in social media, for example, Instagram. And infographics is one of the most used versions of storytelling in illustrations. So, and yeah, we saw in 2018 that one of the most used trends nowadays is combining hand-drawn illustration with pictures. So if we actually understand, illustration was already used back then. So it's a fastest growing trend thanks to social media. Illustrators, younger illustrators, freelance illustrators were able to get more exposure. So its importance in the advertisement. One of the biggest advantage that illustration have is that they catch the eye. It's eye-catching for the customer, for the potential client, because the illustrators or the professionals, they blend the product with the illustration so they can get the attention. This is another case of drawing attention to the product. This is also from Brazil. So yeah, we can see that the product itself blends well with the illustration and it grabs the attention. It creates awareness to the audience. Illustrations are used to attract certain targets. Obviously, if someone likes certain things, an illustrator will make an illustration to attract that certain people. The illustrators and marketing experts make sure that the whole advertisement effort is made in a way that it forms a specific target audience. Exactly, because it's an audiobook. The concept of this one is that because there isn't like many people reading books nowadays, Penguin, which is the company that makes these audiobooks, they wanted to experience like if you were listening to the writers themselves, to the authors themselves, while you listen to their audiobooks. So what a better way to show that with just using Shakespeare's mumbling and whispering into your ears. They give power to the text use. So it's really rare to see an advertisement without text because we need to know what they want to sell us, right? So illustrators make them in a way that the text can blend easily with the illustration. They help in response. Obviously, a good illustration, a perfect illustration is one that gives a reaction to the viewer. Obviously, this is a great way to try to understand, to manage the responses that your advertisement got. A good advertisement is supposed to trigger a great response from the audience. This is this is a campaign called Dos Miradas. It's from Argentina, and we can easily see Kim Jong-un, but he has two horns. So it's a way to show different perspective using photo manipulation. Advertises time. Here I'm going to show you more different examples of advertisement. This is also from Argentina, and it's about youngsters questioning if their friends really like them or they just wanted their TikToks. This is also another illustration from Spain. Magnum hired this illustrator named Thomas D'Antoni to showcase how the art of Magnum. Do you see? It's UK's flag. Yeah. So this is a airline which showcase cheaper prices compared to other airlines out there. So it says, if you haven't seen UK Jet, it's time. Now with prices are starting at $49.9. This is another, by the way, this is another type of illustration that isn't necessarily drawn. It's more like a photo manipulation or a digital collage. It's not necessarily drawn to be an illustration. Well, this is called the vulva maze, and it says that 20%, here it says, 20% of men show that they don't know where the clit is, or the clitoris is. So this campaign wanted to educate men, both men and women, to talk more openly about their sexuality. So they wanted to, they wanted to help them to be more open about sexuality because that can help in their relationships. So what a clever way to show, hey, here's the clit. It says 20% of men can identify the clitoris, help close the orgasm gap. And this is another illustration to showcase illustration. This was done to promote a contest from the One Club. It's called that way. The One Club. The One Club. It's like this organization of creative people that likes to showcase other creative people. So they did also posters for graphic designers, game developers, and art directors. And this one, it's very obvious. Illustration, showcasing illustration.